Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode here in Nonstopnoobph. This is your host, Asar Opisyal. And for tonight, we will be featuring a match between the Poison Storm and the GRIXIS AFFINI-FAE. So this is a new deck, and I will be joined by my good friend, the Boggle Master himself, Sir Martin Reyes. Hello, Sir Martin.
Yes, hello, Asar Official. Thank you for having me back on the channel.
Yes, it's been long since you've commentated again. So last time you were with Jomer and now you're with me. So who do we have here for today?
Yeah, so we have here on the left side, we have NELL CORE. He normally uses now a Popper Storm deck. So the deck is mostly made up of Sultai colors. But I
Yes.
think he added a little bit of a red on his variant.
How about Jomer?
So normally here, Jomer is actually a blue-white, famously known by playing blue-white, and now he's using Grixis colors. But I think he has a little bit of a variant that he used. I think, basing from the deck, he's using weird cards like Spell Stutter Sprite and Sneaky Snacker.
Yeah, that's why it's called Affinity.
Ah, okay, that's why it's called Affinity.
Yeah, because they're all flyers, I guess.
Yeah,
So we have several cards also for the Poison Storm. So
yeah,
he
and
has no
currently
creatures.
I think they're currently at Mulligans right now.
Yeah, they are at the die roll right now. So okay,
Um,
so let's head to the match. Please subscribe to our channel so that
Please
you'll get to watch more
don't forget.
content.
Very good, very good. Proper consent for non-stop move is very, very good.
Yes, okay, die roll for now. 6 for NELL CORE and 9 for Jomer.
So most likely Jomer will be going to be first.
Okay, so what
Okay.
are we gonna expect here? Who has the upper hand? Who do you think?
Well, given if I'm not mistaken, it sometimes needs a little bit of maneuvering for going up a a infect storm deck against a blue or rather Grixis type of deck. So
Mhm.
anything that has to do with counters,
Okay.
because the requirement for having a Sultai Storm deck that deals with poison counters is for one poison counter to at least resolve.
Okay.
So, it might be a little bit difficult for Marnell to try and, maneuver his way out of the counters from John, given that he's a very good control player.
Yes. So now they both kept their hands and the early refurbished familiar came in. So a discard for NELL CORE right away.
Yeah, very quick actually. You normally play that, given that all of the deck is actually made out of artifacts. Given that it is an affinity deck, it normally does run by that. You
Eh,
can
eh,
actually play um, a refurbished familiar on turn two.
Yes. So the depletion lands, two depletion lands now for NELL. So we know that both of these lands can eventually gain more counters because of the proliferate effect of
Yes.
the storm deck.
So for Marnell's deck to work, it has to at least resolve one a poison counter and then make
First,
use of
yes.
proliferate ability.
Uh-huh.
So if normally if you know how to play poison decks, you only need 10 counters for the poison deck to win.
So as we
So
can see, Nell now.
life doesn't really matter in this
Yeah,
case
correct.
for
S-
Jommer.
So Nell now has all the three colors that he needs.
Yeah, this is like a weird variant of Tron. So normally, when you use these types of tap lands that Marnell is using right now, you could see that he's using dice
Mhm.
to make counts on how many counters he has while using. So when you tap one land, for example, the blue land, the Suprazan, what do you call this card?
Scary, yes. The surprise
Yeah,
and
the
scary.
Suprazan Scary. Um, it normally floats. Oh, it floats 2 mana. So
Okay.
here we are. He's going to proliferate
So he
and then add.
he created
Yeah,
a poison counter because of the prologue to pyresis.
yes, yes, precisely. Oh,
And
wait, has there been? Yeah, there we go. There, uh, Marnellus actually has resolved already two poison
so
counters.
two poison now for toxin
So,
analysis.
whoa,
Oh, for the
interesting.
clue token. So that he can draw. So he didn't put any token anymore because he will draw eventually. So he untaps.
Draws.
He
And
attacks
then,
again. Down to
okay.
16 for now.
So I think that the gameplay now for Jomer is actually trying to race Marnell. In this situation, I'm taking a look at Marnell's deck right now, and I don't think. I think his game saving card here would be Weather the Storm.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah, so given that Weather the Storm will um, increase his life by a ton, it may delay the game a couple of times before somebody wins.
Yeah. So
So,
up the Pented
uh,
Prism. Two of those
okay,
comes in.
okay. So given that Pentaprism has come into play, technically Marnell has all of the colors already, and
Yes.
given that the Sultai Storm deck makes use of the proliferate ability, most likely every turn the proliferate
And there you go.
cards
It
resolve.
proliferated again.
Yes, it increases.
So
So
three
they can
poison
make
now.
use of a lot of mana right now, and having a lot of mana can do like a lot of damage
A-
and a lot of poison.
And he has a lot of draws as well.
Yes, yes. But technically, both decks can actually draw a lot with all the thoughtcast of the Affinity deck as well
Hmm.
as the Deadly Disputes.
So another proliferate for Nell from the contentious plan. So that's four poison counters. Is this a difficult situation now for Jomer?
Yes, yes, I think so. But I think at the later time he's holding back some counter spells for
Hmm.
later, for to be able to counter the last minute infect counters needed for Drummer to avoid being defeated.
Island cycle for Nell Core right now. So that's the good thing about the Pentad Prism. It doesn't have to tap to create mana. You just have to remove a charge counter from it, correct?
Yes, yes, yes. You just have to remove. However, like if the for the lands, the tap lands, if the last dice have been removed automatically, the the land will be discarded or
Yeah.
will be removed from play.
Hmm.
So you should have proliferated before the last dice will be removed from
Okay,
play.
another proliferate. This is steady progress.
Oh, forgetting to tap a blue mana right there, corrected by Jomer.
Yeah, so now Jomer has five poison counters.
I think it's been a couple of turns now. I think three turns already, and Jomer hasn't really given that much damage to
Another
Marnell.
poison counter from another
Here we
prologue
go.
pyresis. Now up to
So,
six poison counters for Jomer.
so here, given that it's six, basically, I think that Jomer is currently down to eight.
So Jomer now on the 10th turn of Nell does the toxin analysis again to get a clue token and draw from it again. So now he attacks again. So he's trying to raise really the damage.
Given actually Jomer's mana pool, I think he's lacking a little bit of reds, if I'm not mistaken. He only has one open red
Yeah, and he's
at the
trying to
moment.
dig for answers as well. So now he he sacrificed the Nihil spellbomb that he cast earlier to exile the graveyard of Nell. So he gets
If I'm going to be Jomer right now, the most that I could do is dig up for a lot of mirror enforcers, and then cast them all at the same time, and
but
then
he
start.
has no mirror enforcer in his
Yeah,
deck.
That's the thing. Sometimes decks can be a little bit, it wears people down if they don't the deck doesn't work the way they want it to.
Yeah, this is the flying variant. This is the new variant of Affinity. Okay, so an infectious inquiry. An opponent gets a poison counter again. So that's 7 poison now for Jomer. A
I think
very tight spot.
Drummer is having a very big problem here, given that he has already 7 poison counters.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and currently he's supposed to be countering
And one more
the
proliferate.
proliferate.
Okay, Jomer scoops game one.
And there we go.
Okay, so that was a fast game for Nell.
Okay, I think here we are going into the sideboards
Mm-hmm.
for game number two.
Yeah. So what do you think was the advantage of Nell during that game? Did he
Well,
get all the mana that he need?
yeah, definitely, as well as resolving one poison counter at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there was an opportune moment for Marnell to actually cast and resolve one. If I'm not mistaken, it was a prologue to Phyresis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then
And
proliferated his way up there.
yeah, so that's the big problem for Jomer. I probably what do you think he placed into the main deck from the
Most
sideboard?
likely, yeah, most likely he'll be using like red elemental blast for sure, putting it
Mm-hmm.
into the main board, and then as well as a lot of counter magic like lose focus. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I saw he put it back, or he put it inside the his main board, and will most likely he'll be making use of the spell setter sprites. Although I'm
Yes,
not entirely sure what he boarded out.
definitely. Probably he boarded out the destroy creature spells that he has.
Yes, yes.
Now it's a funny thing that Nell boarded in Mana Morphos.
Wow, really?
Yes, he did. I saw it. So
Interesting. Okay. I think he's
interesting
yeah.
boarding in. Probably he's gonna try and make the storm count more faster, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Oh, please don't forget to subscribe. Nonstop
yes,
move.
because we have lots of contents to show in the coming days. We are editing already, and we are gonna invite more guest commentators for the viewers.
And here we are, game two.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I think
So,
Jomer will
so
also
what's your
be short
prediction
and
here?
strong. My prediction here, I think Jomer will have the upper hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So another depletion land, the suppress and scary comes in.
Most likely, Jomer would be prepared.
So there's
Oh,
the refurbished
should
on
not
turn
be
two.
resolving. He should not be resolving a lot of the poison counter type of spells. It will put
Mm-hmm.
him in an awkward clock.
Yeah. So no poison counters yet for Jommer, but we know that Nell can create 2 blue mana out of the suppress and scary counter.
Yes, yes, and I think he might be developing mana presence here, so he'll be using proliferates in the meantime.
Okay,
And
here's
there
the
we go.
prologue. So no counters for Jar because he's tapped out.
He
An
stepped
early
out. He
Pyresis
can't
again.
counter. Yes.
Early poison counter again from Nell.
So basically, it may come downhill from here, given that for Jomer actually, the clock has begun. So there it's it will put Jomer in a bit of a tight spot later on, given that Marnell is also increasing a lot of mana on his side. I guess what Jomer can do is just delay by using a lot of counter magic. So I guess that would put red elemental blast into play,
Yeah, I think he's gonna
as
hold.
well as a lot of loose focus. I'm
Hmm.
not, yeah,
Given that Jomer has two attackers already, he will just keep attacking.
Likely he removed the Grarkland shamans, given
Mm-hmm.
that Marnell doesn't really use a lot of creatures.
No
In fact, there
creatures at
are no
all.
actual creatures at all. And I think for Marnell he'll be putting on. I think he didn't remove any Weather the Storm.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, and I think he has not really have any fog effects for the deck.
I
So I think
think none. Just gain life
yeah,
effects.
you just gain life and then just have all the proliferate tactics to resolve. I think
Okay,
okay, here
steady
we are.
progress again. So it proliferates and two poison counters now for Jomer.
At this point, I think Jomer is looking for answers because he keeps tapping out at this time.
Yeah,
But he
probably
also
he's
does deal
digging for
damage.
he's digging for counter spells.
A bit of a difficult uh, time here for Jomer.
So one remaining mana, blue mana for Nell. That's what the dice is saying. Now the
Yeah,
mana morphos comes in. So this will create a combination, two combination of any color for him.
it resolves. Yes, technically,
So he has
he
two
can.
mana of any color.
But the dice he's counting
He does
for
another mana
storm.
morphos.
Yeah, so he's currently counting for storm.
Storm counts, probably, yes.
Normally, yeah, normally they don't show that, not unless the opponent knows that he's using like Weather the Storm or any
And
other.
another mana morpho. So those are the cards that he
Whoa!
has in hand.
Wow! No,
Three
that's a
mana
combo right
morpho. So
there. So
those are
technically,
four cards
although
already.
I'm not sure how many mana he's floating right now, but from my guesses,
Just two.
it's five.
No. He paid for the two for the entry of the mana
Yeah, and then
morphoses.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so he just has two remaining, plus the two blue that he has right now. And another contentious plan that will resolve no counters from Jomer. So
I
proliferate
think
again. Jomer is helping him with the dice.
I don't think yeah I
And
think
the
this is
weather, the
all
storm
for
comes in.
Jobber right now.
So that's five storm counts plus the three from weather the storm.
Yeah,
Gain
so I think
18
that
and up to
gain 18.
34. So this is a hard race for Jomer.
It does put Marnell in a safe spot, so he can take the damage and still look for his cards for any infect or rather poison counter type of cards.
Yeah. Another Nihil Spellbomb. Now, Jomer is holding on to his mana. Probably he has found some counter spells.
I
So
think he has
Enhancement comes in.
graveyard removal, but I'm not sure what that is for. I think it's for an extra draw, I think.
Most
Because the
probably.
deck doesn't really use a lot of graveyard inducing
Hmm.
spells. So I think it's for card draw and additional affinity for the deck.
So now is opening up four blue manas.
So at that
And
time,
another one. Is this a Lorian revealed? No, it's a Vivisurgent Insight.
okay,
So now Deadly
it
Dispute.
draws three cards.
He just sacrificed the Nihil for the Deadly Dispute.
Okay,
So the Vivisurgent is still on the stack. Draw two cards for Jomer.
I think he's looking for a red elemental blast, given that he has a red and black mana open, and then it resolves.
It just resolves. So this
No,
it will proliferate as well. So on the stack, Prologue to Pyrasis comes in again. So putting Jomer up to 4, proliferating every counter on the battlefield. So
my
up to
God.
5 poison counters for Jomer and draw 3 for Nell Core. That's draw 4 because of the Pyresis. That this is a
You
difficult.
see how I think Jomer just dealt 4 damage like a couple of turns ago, and then he's back to 30
34. Then he
and
damaged
dealt
again for
four
four.
more
Yeah.
damage. I don't think Marnera's getting hurt at this point. And here we are, Jomer giving out having 5 poison counters. I think
Yeah.
he's in a bit of a tight spot right now,
Uh huh.
trying to look for those counters.
So he sacrifices the treasure plus the remaining mana and uses the Eviscerator's Insight.
And then
So
triggers the
sacrificing the
Lembas. That's
Lembas,
why
yeah.
he's yeah. So that it triggers the Lembas to go first inside the deck before and shuffle it before drawing the before resolving the vivisections. Oh, sorry, the what
The
do you call that?
Eviscerator.
The immiserators inside. Sorry.
Yes.
And then proceeds to attack again, and then with the Nihil Spellbomb with an additional affinity counter. Sorry, with additional affinity.
So these are a lot of mana now for Nell. But he has
Yeah,
no Pentad Prism yet.
yes, yes. But given that he has a lot of blue,
Yeah. So
now here we are. He's using a red mana, Sandstone Needle.
this came in. This just came in right now. So it's still tapped. Oh, there's the Pentad Prism.
There is the Pentet Prism. So when it enters the battlefield, if you use at least 2 different mana to cast it, it will resolve with
With two
that
counters.
much. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Two
Okay,
counters.
now another Proliferate countered by the Spell Stutter
And
Sprite.
then flashes in the spell setter
So
sprite.
now the sprite shows itself.
Yes, which I think was a little bit problematic for Jomer since it wasn't being used on the earlier game.
Mm-hmm. But it
I think it's more
the count
right.
of the fairies are two now because of the snacker as well. So this can counter
Mhm.
the experimental augury. So that's 4 mana floating again blue plus one from the Pentad Prism. And now another Vivisurgent. Now
And
there's the
there,
counter spell.
resolving late counter spells at this point. Let's see how the the play style of Dromer will come to a close.
So he uses the remaining for another Eviscerator's Insight. He will draw another two cards.
This is a bit of a grindy match for Dromer because that's a lot of life that Marnell is on right now.
So he has three attackers now.
I think that's 5 damage.
21 down to
Okay.
21. And another refurbished familiar. One to
Yeah,
cast only because of the affinity.
given that Marnell has 3 more Weather the Storms in the deck.
So he
Let's see.
discards one card. Back to his turn. So Nell has a lot of mana still. Even though he didn't proliferate earlier.
Yes, yes.
Because the spells got countered twice from the sprite and the red elemental blast. Does
For
Jommer
sure.
still have counter spells in his hand? That's the question.
Yeah, he normally, as a control player for Dromer, he really does need to focus on which spells he
And
needs
there
to
you
count.
go. The loose focus.
And then, and casts an additional replicate if
But
I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
Nell can pay for that.
I think he wants,
He replicates for one, for two. He replicates
no,
for
yeah, he replicates for, no, the tapping is wrong.
yeah.
There we
He
go. So,
replicates for two, so Nell has to pay for 4 mana.
no, if it replicates for 2, that means he needs to pay 6 now, apart
Six
from the loose
mana.
focus cards.
Oh, okay. So
So
does
the
Nell
loose
have that?
focus that pays for 2 and additional 2 blue for 2 replicates.
So that resolves. Did it resolve? It just resolves.
Yeah, it resolves. Yeah, Marnell didn't really draw 3 cards at that
So the
point.
prologue comes in again, so that is not countered because Jomer doesn't have any red elemental blast. It still adds a poison counter.
it does say something, like if you don't counter a poison counter,
We don't
that
counter.
no, if you don't counter a poison counter, that'd be very problematic because it
Yeah.
gives you an additional poison counter on your end if you don't have if that resolves.
Yes. So Nell didn't. So the Vivisurgeon did not resolve as well. So he didn't draw. No proliferate for him. So one of the scary is now in the graveyard because
I
it
think
ran
he's
out of depletion counters. Now a
more.
Manamorphose comes in again.
That's a lot of cycle cards. Technically, Manamorpho is a free draw spell.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So he has 3 remaining mana from the Manamorphose and the Pentad Prism. And 1 remaining, I guess, from the Suppressant Scary. So he has still 4 mana remaining.
Given that
So the
Marnell's
Weather the
deck.
Storm again.
Yes. So, given that Marnell has a lot of dice and a lot of mana going on, it's actually a very difficult deck to use because you need to be accountable for, you need to be accountable for which proliferate you're on, or like
Yeah.
for example, if any proliferate triggers, you need to put a dice counter on them all.
Yeah, that's why
Otherwise,
we
the
call them the
deck will-
storytellers.
yeah. Okay, Pink, Jomer's still hanging in there with
Which
4 more poison counters needed
to
for
defeat
him
him.
to defeat him.
So another island comes in for
Holding
Nell.
on. I don't know where the enforcers are, but I don't think that there are enforcers in the deck.
No, no, he doesn't have any. So the contentious plan comes in again.
Oh, okay.
So he cast into the fire. In response to that, he exiles the Pentad Prism. So the proliferate will still resolve. Now 7 poison counters for Jomer.
You know what? There are other. I've met other people who played that Sultai Storm decks. They
Hmm.
normally lose when the Pentad Prism gets countered because
Oh.
they need that weird combination of mana.
Hmm. So another proliferate infectious inquiry comes
Okay,
in,
technically Jomer is now down to two.
down to
Even
2
even
poison
with all
counters.
that creatures over there, I don't think that's enough for Jomer to win,
So down
putting
to
Jomer at a very
27
tight
for
spot.
Nell.
I think that's two open mana for Jomer, trying to hold it in, looking for more counter spells.
So it's his turn. So he will attack again.
Need to attack with that. How many damage? That would be
Down to
8,
18.
9. I think that's two turn clock.
Now if Nell doesn't have any proliferate or poison in his hand now, Jomer has the chance to win the game because the next
Yes, yes.
2
I
attacks will be
ideally,
fatal.
I think Marnell still has 2 more Weather the Storms in the deck, so
But
it's still he's
Jomer
still
tapped
alive.
5 mana to be able to flash back the Eviscerator.
Looking for more answers here. Also, it does trigger the Sneaky Snacker.
The return because of the 3 drawn cards. Yeah.
Yes, and then further cast the Lembas to look to scry and draw a card, and then proceeds to attack
So
on.
no open mana for Jomer now.
Yeah.
So this is scary. This is suppress and scary.
So given that, how many cards does Marnell have right now? We're not too sure. Can't see it. I think it's 3.
Yeah.
If 2 of those would be poison counters, and I think this will be Marnell's game-winning round.
A
Okay, that's
pentad
a Penta
prism
Prism.
first.
Okay, safe. I think there are 2 more cards left.
but those are two mana of any color, so he
Okay,
can
and we got a
swamp.
land. We got a land. Okay, it's giving Jomer hope right now.
But he has no counter spells anymore because he has no open mana. So Nell
Yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
playing whatever he
Jomer is
wants.
praying right now.
Okay, one
Okay, that's
proliferate
one
up.
proliferate. That's free. Draws him a card, and then I think one more
One
poison
more poison counter for him.
finish the game. Okay, draws a card.
So
I don't think
Marnell is
Jomer
still
has something to
thinking.
do. Yes, yes. I think
Float two
look
blue.
more cards
It's
right now
one
here.
black. And the
And
steady progress.
okay, and that's game.
That's game.
Marnell wins this one.
Lost via poison for Jomer.
I mean,
Wins the
given that,
game 2-0.
yeah, given that there's a really like a lot of counter magic for Jomer, I don't think given that there was just one poison counter spell that resolved, and after that it's downhill from there.
Yeah. So he probably doesn't have any counter spells during the early game. That's
Yeah,
why.
during the early, yeah, that's why the poison counter type spells resolved, and
Uh-huh.
that came a bit of a downhill for Jomer in that two games at that point.
So the Poison Storm beat the Affinity Flyers, the Affini-FAE this time around, and it was a very good game, very insightful as well. Thank you very much, Sir Martin Reyes.
Yes, yes, thank you very much for having me. It was a
Okay.
very fun match actually between the two of them, making use of three colors actually.
Yeah, the results was unpredictable, but eventually.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was siding with the Affinity. I thought they were gonna get countered, but I don't think it was a good set of draws for Jomer on
And
his
the
side.
addition of Manamorphose from the sideboard to the main board
Yes, yes,
became
definitely,
mhm.
yes, definitely increase the draws for Marnell.
And the storm count as well.
Yes, so you basically cast. Did he cast originally? If you could do a replay, casted three
Yeah, he casted around three
Metamorphoses in a
three
single turn,
Manamorphose. Then
and then
eventually,
proceeded to use a Weather the Storm, which
uh-huh.
gained him 18 life.
So that was the deterrent for Sir Jomer. So
Yeah.
thank you very much again, Martin, and hope to that you can join us again for some other coverages here in Nonstop Noob PH featured match.
Yes, thank you very much. Definitely, Asar, just give me a call.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, and keep grinding.